Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. This is a podcast where we, and by we I mean me, Appo, and my co-host / co-founder Vincent, we dive back into our top five and we talk about the top five dead or alive DC movies.
We're at top two. Did you go? I went.
You so you'll be your two, number two.
My
first.
two.
Yeah.
My two. Number two.
Yeah.
Best movie. I mean, you probably already know what my number one is going to be because
it's probably the same as mine.
probably same as yours. That's right. And it's also like in my top five movies of all time. But number two is The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh man, yeah, no, dude. I didn't have this on my list because it's equal with my top one. I would say, like, it's just in the same vein as my top one. But
so you just left out of the.
I just left it out.
Like, bro, you got the same time as Usain Bolt, but we left you out because like it's the same.
Because I knew you'd bring it up.
Yeah, that's okay. And like, we need to produce content for the show.
We need to produce content. That's right.
For all the 13 people that'll watch this.
But they love it.
Oh,
we haven't checked any of the comments, but I'm sure they love it. Stop doing this. But The Dark Knight Rises. Tell me about The Dark Knight Rises, Vincent.
Okay,
tell me.
Okay, so number one. I love dystopian. You know, the world's ended. Things have gone wrong.
Yeah.
We're almost post-apocalyptic, which is exactly what this has happened. Bane is come in. He's commandeered the city, and he's shut off Gotham to the outside world.
Which is hilarious because it's just a couple of bridges.
I know. That's right. It's just a couple of bridges. It's funny because I just read Batman 0 Year Dark City, which is the New 52 Batman, I'm pretty sure. And it's the Riddler, essentially does the same thing, but he's got these huge weather balloons that just have like question marks on them. And if they blow up, they do toxic gas and all the other bridges are loaded with mines and things like that.
I thought you were going to say they just have riddles on them. People are like, bro, I can't. They just stop there. They're just like, we're meant to be helping, but bro, that's a pretty good riddle.
Yeah.
Like, what's the same thing spelled backwards as it is forwards? Man, I don't know. I couldn't think of an actual riddle because, they're beyond me.
They're beyond me.
Yeah.
Like, what gets wetter as it dries?
Dude, exactly. That's a towel, bro. That's a towel.
That's a towel. But yeah, so it's got dystopian, environment.
Yes, absolutely.
It's got secret societies.
It's got secret societies.
Like, you think Bane is the top dog?
No.
It's that lady that
Marianne Cotillard. Is that her name in real life? I think that's her name in real life.
Possibly, yeah.
But that's Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Yeah, dude, she's around. She's like, Batman, you did me wrong. I don't know if she knew it was Batman, but I think she did. And she's like, I'm gonna get my vengeance. Yeah, slowly.
Well, no, she wanted to get her vengeance on the city.
On the city. Yeah.
That's what she. I haven't watched in a while, but I'm pretty sure that was it. We should probably rewatch the synopsis stuff, or not rewatch them. At least we've watched them. At least work out. Like I think she wanted to like infiltrate the FBI. Was that this movie?
So explain the
so there's secret societies. She was advising Bruce Wayne in helping to do something. But they slept together.
They did sleep together
as well.
She was trying to develop clean power.
That's right, and that's what
the purpose of this clean power was, to actually create an atomic bomb within this city.
That's right.
And it's like, how are you gonna make an atomic bomb and put it in the middle of the city without anyone batting in the eyes? You just tell the richest people there that, hey, this is clean energy right here.
This is clean energy. That's right. Like those wind farms.
Those wind farms. But
you keep your eye out on them because they'll take off,
dude.
And you don't want that blade coming towards you.
No, man. ScoMo will press a button and those things will just start flying up. We're like, hold on a second.
Hold on.
Yeah, Elon will be in one of them. That's how they get them on.
He'll just be piloting a huge propeller.
So the other thing is, I guess the main story, the thing that draws people in is that there's a masked figure.
Yeah.
A man who's coming to take over Gotham from the inside out. And literally the inside. Man's is underground. You said underground societies.
That's right.
He is underground. And Batman must come out of retirement and out of the pain of doing all those activities in his life.
Yeah.
To fight this man. But will he be broken?
Bro, before he can fix the city? Damn broken. Which was what that was. I mean, that's just wild. Bane is insane.
Tom Hardy as Bane. I don't care what people say. Oh, you can't understand him. I don't care.
You can understand
You
him.
can understand him, and also you love to hear him.
You got that fur coat. Hopefully it's faux mink.
You'd hope so, but
You'd hope
knowing
so.
Bane, like he probably killed the animal himself, so at least that's more ethical.
That's true. That's true.
You know, there's
He
something
probably
there.
killed and ate the animal.
Yeah, that's right. He would have used all parts appropriately.
You know, we got that. We got Anne Hathaway's as Catwoman,
That's Catwoman. Yeah.
which she's a great addition.
Anne Hathaway, you put her in anything, she's a great addition.
That's exactly right.
I love seeing Anne Hathaway, and I love
That's
that she's
exactly right.
thriving in life. You know.
And like, you just want to see Bruce Wayne and Anne Hathaway in Paris. Like, you want to be eating a croissant,
Oh, dude.
and you just want to look over and you just be like, "That's Bruce Wayne and Anne Hathaway's."
One of my favorite things about this movie is the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Alfred,
Yeah,
and Michael Caine saying, you know, what he says to him, you know.
yeah, because he cares for him. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
pretty much his family.
That's exactly right, and that's, you know, if something is to happen to him, which it always does,
Yeah,
that will kill Alfred, you know, because that's his role. His role is not to help anyone else out. He just wants Bruce Wayne to live a good
Yeah.
life. And there's that scene when they're on the stairs and Bruce Wayne's like, and he says, you know, you shouldn't do this or whatever. And Bruce Wayne says, you know, Alfred, you old stinky bastard, like, you know, I'll do whatever I want. And he's crying on those steps.
yeah,
And I can't remember exactly what he says, but it brought me to tears when I was watching it for the first time, and now, like when I watch it again. I can't remember exactly what he's saying, but Michael Caine, when he's in that moment, he's like, "You're killing me, Bruce." You know, he says something along those lines.
and Michael Caine will deliver that with absolute peak performance.
Man. And he's retired from acting, but then he's not retired anymore. Man's posted on Twitter like, "I'm retiring from acting," and he's like, "Hold up, nah, I'm not." Man's forgot how to use Twitter, you know.
That's how you use Twitter.
Because I'll put this in my drafts for later, you know, when I actually retire.
In 10 years, I'll you know, just in case, I'll put it there just in case I forget. You know.
Yeah, but Michael Caine, and that scene, I know that it's a bit, you know, of course, happily ever after, but I love that. I love seeing Bruce Wayne
Yeah, dude, what do you
and
mean?
Anne Hathaway, and they just do the nod, and that's all.
That's just to do the nod.
Because Alfred says, my work is done. You know, Bruce Wayne is living the life that he deserved to live.
Yeah. Like, we got the Riddler, we got the Scarecrow. Like, everyone's back destroying Gotham.
Everyone's
but
dying. Everyone's dead, but
Bruce
I
Wayne,
ain't there.
Bruce Wayne good.
We in France, man.
In France, they sing croissant.
There's some croissants, you know?
Yeah. But no, that movie, it's just, they've packed in so much, but it's not something that you feel like they've rushed.
No.
Like, Bruce Wayne does whole rehabilitation.
I know. He gets strung up on that thing.
Yeah, they just drop him and they go, well, your back's fixed.
Oh, it cracks back into place. That's chiropractic work at its best, you know?
That's right. Like, not a regulated by the health board. Like, we can just do what we want.
But there's an addition that they were going to add into it, which couldn't happen because of Heath Ledger passing away.
Yeah.
But I always loved I would have loved the idea of it when Bane goes into Arkham Asylum and he opens it up and he says, you know, take back your city.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, iconic. Iconic.
And there was meant to be a scene in which he goes into one of the cells and the Joker's sitting in there. And he's like, bro, you going to come through? And he's like, no, this is not what I wanted. You know? He wanted Gotham to destroy itself, not
Yeah.
people to come and destroy Gotham.
Yeah, that's
You know?
right.
He wanted the anarchy to be built, you know, without, like, almost his fingers were and his hands were clean because he made everyone else do all the things.
Well, because it was what he thought would naturally happen.
Yeah. But this is just, they're like, we're on the ground. We're coming in to destroy things.
That's right.
Which is also very cool because it is is the word juxtaposition of the two movies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we can use that word.
I think that's how that word works.
Yeah, if it's wrong, who's going to tell us?
Who's going to tell us?
You?
Man? Your dictionary, like individual.
You dictionary.
Are you
Oh,
right
Webster? Are you going to tell us?
If Webster came in, like, that'd be shout out to Webster, you know. But I love looking at both of those movies. They are very different in the way that they're approached, and one is, you know, they had to make The Dark Knight Rises go out with a bang because it is the last of
That's right.
the series.
That's
You got to
right.
just go out with action and fun.
I also loved the story of Bane and the the lady.
What's her name, man?
I don't know what her late name.
her name?
I don't know. Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Yeah, and the whole the story they're saying the one person that escaped.
Yeah. And you think it's Bane?
You think it's Bane?
Oh man,
Bro, it ain't Bane.
It
ain't Bane.
Look, I'm going to tell you, they caught me out.
They caught everyone out. There's not one person in the audience, like hairy chest or non-hairy chest, that would have shown. Yeah, no. I understood that.
So she's Miranda Tate.
Miranda Tate in the movie.
Yeah, she's Miranda Tate in the movie. I love Bane's presence, and I want more of. I wish that obviously he's dead. He got shot with a gun.
Yeah.
Which is a hilarious way to go because Batman eventually figured out how to make him experience pain was by removing bits of the mask, and then Anne Hathaway just comes in and just shoots the man.
But she's doing Catwoman things.
Yeah, Catwoman she just needs to get things done.
That's right. She's not worried about ethics.
But there's that scene which I love. I mean, I was the sort of person that I watched this movie like 12 times, but also I would go and just watch Bane best bits.
Bane
BBB.
best bits.
I just be BBB, right? And there's the bit where Bane, that guy says, "I'm in charge here." And Bane puts his hand on his shoulder.
Oh, man.
Bane puts his hand on his shoulder. He's like, "Do you feel in charge?" And dude's like, "Well, now I don't."
And then you just hear the neck snap, don't you?
I can't remember. I can't remember if he kills him, but he could. He most definitely could. With a single swoop. slaps him so hard his neck just twists around.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I'm not as big of a fan of the bat plane or helicopter thing, but
yeah,
I love seeing it when they had all the tumblers just running through Gotham with the army print, because they were like, "Hey dude, we know that you guys have got all these tumblers. We're just going to use them for our own devices." The Robin bit is okay. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to have him in the movie. They probably didn't need I go by that thing at the end.
You should go by your original name, Robin.
Yeah, that one was a bit too in your face.
But I love about that movie as well, which I think we talked about it with the Snyder Cut.
We didn't even talk about JGL.
Yeah. Can't remember that man's name now. Why?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. JGL. Yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is good in this movie.
I know,
and he's good in a lot of things
because they're doing detective things. Jim Gordon's there; he's doing detective things.
Yeah.
The police aren't doing detective things because they're underground. They're underground.
I could talk about this movie all day.
I know.
But I like what they do with the whole Robin thing. They didn't need to make a whole nother trilogy. But just to leave it off and being like, this is where Gotham is, make up your own ideas of what happens next.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
I think that part, I think they just didn't need to hit you in the face with it.
I know. Yeah, no, that's right. But I think if, Batman just left him, this is the key to the Batcave and that's it. Like, you just left it there. And the other thing was, now I'm forgetting what I was going to say. Oh yeah, when things are in that dystopian, the post-apocalyptic thing that you're talking about, we talked about this earlier, when they're having the trials, and the Scarecrow's sitting there, he's got the suit with like the feathers coming out of it,
and he's just got his mask on.
No, he doesn't. He's got it's off. Like you see Cillian Murphy in the flesh.
Oh,
and he's saying,
for some reason in my head
you try to do this, you got to go walk on the ice.
Oh yeah, that's right. And
they just walk and they fall through, and then Batman just comes through. I'm wearing a 500 kilo suit. I'm just walking on this ice. He just comes through and just starts like beating up folk. Because I think Jim Gordon is going to be sent over the ice, and Batman
something like that. Not Jim.
Man, I could talk about this all day.
I know,
Should I just put that as my number 2?
Well, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is, I think, a great movie that is not talked about as much as it should. And you know what? It's taken some heat of late because people just use it for the purposes that it shouldn't be used for. But this is 2005's very own V for Vendetta.
Oh, yeah, it is, eh?
It is.
That's a good movie.
That's a good movie. And it's DC.
That's Natalie Portman's.
That's Natalie Portman's. And Hugo Weaving's.
Hugo Weaving's, the incomparable.
The incomparable, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So the reason I said that it's not used for good things now is because whenever you see a protest, there's a man in a Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah, that's
as if he's doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also they take things out of context and that's
yeah, exactly right. Now, the comic again. This was done by Alan Moore.
Dude, this didn't come out on the list
I believe
of
this
DC
is DC.
comics.
This is DC
No,
movies. But
I'm going to agree with you there, but
I think this is Alan Moore who also did the Watchmen series, and I think he's come out as saying that he hates this movie. But I think he hates all the properties that have been made based on his work.
I think he hates anything that he didn't do directly. he seems like that kind of dude.
Which is fair enough. We just watched the back catalogue, so I understand where he's coming from. But
Like if anyone else did the back catalogue, we'd despise it.
I love this movie because I guess if I'd read maybe 1984 before this, I would have maybe appreciated 1984 more.
Yeah.
But this sent me into, and we've talked about this a lot on this podcast, about how there's different, we like to be put into different worlds. And this world is very much, it is the future or the present. But what if, we were under this controlling government who watched everything that we did.
Yeah.
And there was curfews on what we could do and what we could watch and what was able to happen. And then there was one man who obviously fought against that and used others, maybe in some ways that weren't necessarily the nicest of ways. For example, what he does to Natalie Portman and puts her through the experience that he went through.
Yeah, I can't remember this movie very much,
But the reason that this movie is great is because you've got Hugo Weaving as V. And he's saying vivaciously ferocious. He's saying everything with the word V in one sentence.
He's saying Vincent?
He says Vincent. He says Vincenzo as well.
Far out, that's even better.
But it is, I think it's perfectly mixed with action from Hugo Weaving's character, as well as just this political drama that's going on, and this in many ways pokes fun at the government and says, as people, we are stronger than the government. We just may not always see it, which I think is a good message until the wrong people listen to it.
That's right.
Because they'd be thinking that the government's always trying to do, what is it, totalitarianism? I don't know if,
Yeah, as in they're trying to take all control.
Is it juxtaposition? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think you're 100% spot on.
I could be spot on, right? When it comes to movies like this, there are issues with them because the wrong people watch them, they'll start revoking
take them to the extremes.
Exactly right. But I've watched this movie probably 6 times and I loved it every single time.
Yeah.
And I just like going back to it. I think it's only got a 7.5 on the IMDb, and I think that's underrated. But I love going back to it because I don't find anything new in it, but I love Hugo Weaving as a main character.
Hugo Weaving's a good actor.
And I know it's not him as such because it's a man in a mask, so it could just be another man.
Yeah.
But his voice.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my goodness.
Like him as Red Skull?
Oh, dude.
Hey.
Him as Red Skull, man. And, it wasn't him as such in Infinity War, but that was still good.
It was him in spirit.
It was him in spirit. Natalie Portman, I think, is great in this movie. At this point, I believe the only time I'd seen her was in Star Wars. And I think she's great in Star Wars as well. But to see her in this movie she starts off as a bit of a damsel in distress, but then comes into her own as she progresses. I wish I'd seen more movies in which Natalie Portman is just the hero of the piece.
Yeah.
And in many ways she is in this, but I like Natalie Portman as an actor, and I'd love to see her just like taking names, whether that be, using words or with physical violence. But seeing that character, and then there was Steven
Spielberg.
No, not Spielberg. Who's the guy that narrated all the Harry Potter books?
Stephen Hawking?
No. Stephen Hawking, he was a man of science. He wasn't in there wasting his time with Harry Potter books. Oh, what's his name, dude? It's probably not even Stephen. I've probably got you on this track of Spielbergs and Hawking. let me get his name very quickly so it's not killing me, and then we'll get into our number ones. Stephen Fry. Yes,
That's my guy.
That's your guy. And then his character I think is great, but John Hurt's character as like the Hitler of the piece, the man who is controlling everything. Terrifying. But also they make him goofy as heck as the movie goes on, and it shows that, even politicians in our world, even the scariest looking politicians, they got no idea what they're doing. Because if me and you got no idea what we're doing.
Well, we've seen Scott Morrison.
Yeah, that's different. You could put Mike Myers as him in a biopic. You could genuinely do that.
You could.
But You got to watch, if you haven't watched V for Vendetta, because you're like, I don't know about comic book movies, I never watch them. Watch V for Vendetta, because that's a good comic book movie.
That's just a good movie.
Yeah, without, that's exactly right.
That's right. That was a graphic novel first, essentially.
Essentially. Now let's get into our number one, because
Which is The Dark Knight.
Which it is The Dark Knight.
You already know what it is. Silento.
Like, who's Silento? Is this a rap?
That's the guy that does Watch Me Whip. But he goes, you already know what it is. Silento. Yeah, so that's just content that's just like a bit of meme culture, but also not like at the forefront.
Yeah, man.
Dark Knight, man. Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. So we talked about Nolan. We've talked about Nolan in depth, but this, in many ways, is Nolan's best movie of all time.
Absolute top tier juxtaposition.
Juxtaposition, man.
Like out the wazoo.
We're talking juxtaposition out the wazoo, but Nolan
he knows what's up.
And I know that people say, if Heath Ledger didn't die, his performance wouldn't be as good. But no, every single piece of what they put together, regardless of what happened, was done to perfection.
But why would it? I don't understand why that.
Like they were saying, if he hadn't died, he wouldn't have got the Oscar. It's like that man's would have got it.
Are you serious?
That's one of the greatest performances of all time, and it's also a performance that isn't easy to do in a comic book movie because villains in a comic book movies are always treated with disrespect.
Yeah.
They just always, they never give them enough because they'll have that moment where they'll build up to a point and they'll just be like, oh, I'm a villain, I'm going to do villainous things. Whereas the Joker was the same throughout.
Yeah.
His approach never changed and the way that he got things done never changed either. There was no, I'm in a fit of rage, so I'm going to start shooting folk. He was like, nah, this is my plan and I'm sticking with it the whole time.
That's right.
And the actor that played that part so well that you're like, this is not only the greatest villain, but one of the greatest characters that we've seen on screen. Characters, Vincent.
Characters.
And they're all characters. Everyone on screen's a character. You know what I mean? Unless we're talking documentaries.
They're still a character.
Yeah, exactly. Because even then, people pull on the strings, man. The Batman in this is probably the best Batman that you'll get in these three movies.
Yeah.
The
thing also about the Batman in this is also he's not even the main character really.
No, he's not. It's Alfred.
No, you know what I mean. There's not really a main character. Batman is kind of the protagonist, but you've got Heath Ledger, you've got Bruce Wayne, and you've got Harvey Dent.
Yeah. And Jim Gordon plays a bigger role in this movie.
But I'd say those three are the kind of that's the holy trinity.
And in many ways, I think you talked about it. I can't remember what you talked. Maybe it was in the top 5 Dead or Alive movies of all time. You talked about how, if we're talking juxtapositions. No, I don't know. I really don't know what that word means. But
if you keep using it enough,
people think I know.
That's right.
But if you talk about how they work together and how they're all almost images of themselves, but just altered images of themselves.
They're just kind of different sides of the same die almost.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works as a metaphor.
Dude, that works as a metaphor. Because, you got one on one side, you may have 6 on the other.
Bro, you may.
You may have 6.
You may.
Depends on what kind of dice we talk about. But go on with what you were going to say about the Holy Trinity in this.
Well, it's almost as if Harvey Dent is both people. Mm-hmm. He represents the chaos that the Joker is trying to, bring out of the city after his, the incident. But then before he represents what Batman is trying to bring to the city, which is order and a bit more, like chill out, guys. Like we don't have to do terror toxins in the water supply. We don't have to do that.
We can just hang out together and get things done.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
we can just have trains.
We just have trains.
Regular trains.
And I love the fact that we were saying this before with the Batman Begins, but it feels so real.
Yeah.
There's no part in that movie where I would have thought, I mean, obviously there's superheroes in it, but there's a superhero in it. But there's no part in that movie where I would have thought this isn't something that could happen in real life. So for them also to manipulate the fact that they say, oh, actually, what's man's name again?
Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent was the reason we got out of this.
Yeah.
He helped save this, he helped did this, and he died in the process, but he got it done. Like that's exactly what they do. Just hide all this evidence and just make this person be
the martyr.
What they need to be.
That's right.
And Batman to be, I think did Batman have to leave leave his role at that point?
I don't know.
But
I can't remember.
The toll that this movie takes on Batman as well, because it's not a physical toll. There's nothing physical except for the bites at the very start of the movie.
Yeah, that's right. He gets bit by a few dogs. That's it.
Everything else is emotional and mental strain that is placed onto this man. The scene when he has to choose between...
oh, man. Yeah. Far out.
And he chooses...
his mate.
His mate, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
No, he doesn't. Sorry, he chooses...
No, but he does choose. But the Joker said he's done the switcheroo.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I believe that's what happened. I believe that...
No, I don't think so.
Because I remember, isn't it when Batman he opens up the thing and he sees Harvey Dent and his face drops.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. Bro, I didn't remember that. I don't know that.
At least that's what I think. So I think
That's
the Joker
wild.
says, oh, you've got this over here and that, like this person here.
Oh,
and
you
that
can
person
only
there.
get to one of them.
And he was like, but my memory's a bit hazy
Yeah.
because you just beat me up. Then he goes to Harvey Dent to think that he's saving Maggie Gyllenhaal's character, and then gets there and sees Harvey Dent and he's like, well, I can't not save this man. I can't just run away and go try to get the other one.
He should have just done it, bro.
He should have.
He should have just done it. Yeah, now this, I mean, anyone who's seen this movie,
You know. I mean, we talked a lot about The Dark Knight Rises. That sort of took out all that we could talk about Batman and things. But this
movie is definitely the best by a fair bit as well. The Dark Knight Rises for me as a number 2 is amazing, but this is still a fair bit ahead of that. Just because there's so many different themes and layers and, you could spend hours deconstructing this movie. I'm not going to do that because
we haven't got ours.
I haven't got hours, and I also haven't got the intelligence to be, I know some things, but I don't know all the things.
But also, genuinely, as a movie, you can sit down and watch this. Take it. You can think of it not. If you can think of Batman as just being a dude in a city who has a suit, you don't have to think of him as Batman specifically.
And a grappling hook.
And it is still a great movie. But you can't take out those elements. You can't take out the fact that he has a grappling hook. But you can't take out the Joker and add someone else. Well, I mean, you could, so long as they were presented in the same way as what Heath Ledger presented.
Yeah, you could take out the Joker, but as long as you put someone like exactly the same, like that did the same things, like said exactly the same lines, and looked the same, it'd be
In
fine.
many ways, this
One
is
for one.
Although it is the Dark Knight, this is the Joker's movie.
That's
And
right.
I just want to lift off a couple of the scenes that are amazing.
I was just about to say, he goes to China or Hong Kong or somewhere, doesn't he?
He does to save that guy. That's not in Dark Knight Rises, is it?
Dark Knight.
That's in Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Because that's where he puts the phone downstairs.
That's right. That's the...
Oh, sorry, I forgot my phone. Here, you can put it there, and it's like the sonar thing.
Yeah, what did that achieve? I can't remember. I always remember that as a part of the movie. I'm going, why was that in the movie?
I think he was able to see where the head was in that space. So he was like, okay, my man's at the
I know,
top
but
level.
why was he there?
Why was who there?
Batman. Why was Batman doing Batman things in Hong Kong?
I think people were trying to kill this bloke and he had some information.
Okay.
And he tried to save this man's.
Okay. Man still died, didn't he?
I think he died later.
Yeah. As in like from old age.
Yeah, from old age. Yeah. The phones thing is a bit frustrating, like when Batman's like, I can see everything. And he has like the eyes that see everything.
Yeah.
It's a bit how you're going, especially given the fact that, Batman is specifically a detective.
Yeah.
And
he should be detecting.
He should be detecting things.
I hear footsteps.
No, but if he found the Joker without having to use all those every
true.
person's phone to use as
That's
like a sonar device, or if it actually is sonar,
whatever it is,
juxtaposition device. But the Joker scenes that I love, obviously the opening scene.
Hit me.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's wild.
But the opening scene, the bank heist.
Our man takes off a clown mask and he's a clown. You rock over to the movie theater, you go on that, you're saying, I'm in for a wild ride.
I know. This guy's done his makeup, but then he's just put on the thing after, and it's like, that's you juxtapose.
You're juxtaposing things here.
I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna stop saying that word. I was just trying to think if I kept saying it, maybe it will fit somewhere.
Well, you never know.
Dude, I got phone calls.
That's all right.
Can I just take a quick break from this phone call?
No.
I just gotta take a quick break, real quick. Let me just take a quick break.
Bro, you're going to make me do editing?
Okay, I won't
Scroll back and we're almost done here.
We're almost done. All right. The other scene that I love with the Joker is the the bit where, man, now when he's in like he goes up to the gangsters, right?
Oh,
he goes
with
into
the pencil?
place. The pencils, and he does he is that the part where he like breaks the pool cues in half and he's like, you two just fight to death? Or is that later?
I don't even remember that.
That happens in this movie.
No, that's the one where he goes, I can make this pencil disappear. And the dude's like, nah, bro, I've had enough of this. And he just goes, done, sell.
That was actually not the part that I was trying to think of.
No.
That part is a good part. But the scene where he goes up to the party in Bruce Wayne's like penthouse. That scene's scary, man.
Yeah, because there's so much tension.
Yeah. And he just comes in, he grabs the champagne, he just throws it behind him, pretends to drink it. And he's just in there and everyone's like, what is going on? Is this a part of the show?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Are we rich? So this could be just some like weird form of entertainment that we're into.
but also this man walks into places. Walks into different places and just like, I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
Because I have got everything sorted out here.
No. The reason is because he doesn't have anything sorted out because he's got extreme mental health issues.
Yeah. And there is although it's not explicitly said, there is the idea that the Joker's character is a man who went to war and was not adequately supported to rehabilitate himself to be back into the community. And he's going against, the people that led him to what happened. He's going against everyone.
Yeah. The oligarchy.
The oligarchy, man.
I don't know what that is.
Could be something to do with the patriarchy. By like olio, because it's like an oligarchy. It's an olio.
I think we should wrap this up, man.
But we've been here for hours.
Yeah, I know.
We've been here for hours.
So don't call it a comeback.
Look,
we've been here for hours.
Look, go through the top 5. If you're going to watch any of them, you have to. And if you haven't watched The Dark Knight, you have to watch The Dark Knight.
You got to watch Batman Begins first. You don't have to, but I would recommend it.
Yeah, I'd recommend watching all 3.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but The Dark Knight, if you haven't watched that, you have missed out because it's top 10 movies of all time. And for Vincent, it's top 5.
Top 5. All right. Talk soon. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Patreon. Talk soon.